Our correspondent Kamaljeet Sandhu is there at the Lodhi Crematorium getting us details. Kamaljeet, you know, a lot of people who we spoke to said that Sunanda Pushkar wasn't your average politician wife. She had a personality of her own. She was an independent and strong woman, and which is why a lot of people say that they can't believe that somebody who's as strong and independent and vivacious and lively as her would even attempt to harm herself.
Well, definitely so. Shocking responses coming in from people. Obviously, they seemed extremely shocked. Sunanda Pushkar was an extremely successful businesswoman. She had business in Dubai and elsewhere in India. And obviously, she had certain interest in the IPL as well. But then thereafter, we also know that she was a social person. She was also seen at many events. She had a lot of friends. And that is why when she was in trouble, she actually did reach out to a lot of people. But the fact remains that in her last minutes, obviously, the messages that she had sent out even to people, the last day she seems to be more isolated than ever before. Shashi Tharoor was away in ICC. Thereafter, only when he came back, he had gone away during some time in lunch. That is what our sources had told us. And then thereafter, in the evening time, when the hotel authorities informed him that there was no response from Sunanda Pushkar, he came back and found the body. And there was a huge response on Twitter itself. And remember, the entire story has been a Twitter story in the first place. Sunanda Pushkar herself spilling out the beans and giving out the details between a private conversation between Shashi Tharoor and Meher Tarar, the Pakistani journalist, and saying that she was really shocked at the journalist's obsession about Shashi Tharoor. So obviously she was clearly upset with her husband, upset about the alleged affair. And in that sense, she did manage to reach out. And clearly she had also spoken to a lot of people, whether in print or in television, speaking her mind out, telling that she was extremely upset about this and that she wanted to actually take the matter legally, and that they were happy. But remember that one particular response which came in from the couple almost after this entire war had been spilt out in the media, that all was well within the marriage, that they wanted some privacy as Sunanda Pushkar was not well. So there is an aspect where there is a possibility that there was ill health, and obviously the reports coming in from Kerala saying that she did actually have a lupus immunity deficiency system, but that did not mean that it was a life-threatening disease. But was that a possibility that she could have taken an overdose of drugs, or in that sense, whatever was prescribed, she had taken over and above that, is one bit of speculation. But remember, nothing at this point of time can be ruled out. There's obviously also a point where injury marks were found, even though the doctors could not specify whether this was a reason for her death or not. Obviously, we'll really have to wait for the next 2 to 3 days, which is going to be extremely crucial, even in terms of investigation. Delhi police has a lot in hand. Besides the SDM, they will really have to go through the call records. They'll have to really know why Shashi Tharoor and his wife had actually shifted from the residence in Lodhi estate to Leela Hotel, where they say there was painting works going on. Was it there a strain or stress within which seemed to be apparent and obvious after the spat that they had on Twitter, that even Shashi Tharoor was upset. But remember, this has taken a toll on Shashi Tharoor. He was extremely upset. He had a cardiac event. He was rushed to the hospital. He was treated in AIMS. But this is going to be some very difficult times, because not only does he have to really face the public, there would be some sort of ire also on Twitter. But the fact remains that this is a very private moment for any family. But yes, there would be a lot of attention on him. Reason being that his wife is no more, and the tragic circumstances that led to her death.
Absolutely, Kamal, and one cannot help but notice the fact that social media has had a huge impact on Shashi Tharoor's personal life as well, whether it was his controversial remark that forced him to step down from the position of MOS External Affairs, to ultimately his wife accusing him of getting into an extramarital affair on Twitter. His life was literally playing out before all the public. Everything that happened was actually on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely so, because this was a love story which was out in the public. It ended before the public in very tragic circumstances. After that, the word which came from the couple that all was well within the marriage, most people had actually given them that private space till the word came in that Sunanda Pushkar had actually died. Her body was found in a hotel room in Leela, in room number 345. So definitely many people were extremely upset. And remember, this is one of the controversies. Shashi Tharoor has been a controversy child. Whether we've seen him on Twitter was earlier with his comments on cattle class, whether his wife was called $1 million girlfriend by Narendra Modi. So Shashi Tharoor has been very much in the eye. He has some 3 million followers on Twitter. So very public, very noted personality. But the way things turned out for him in the past few days seemed to be extremely tragic. He would have not anticipated in any way that this could have led to it. But remember, even though the police has a lot to do in this sense, all eyes would be on them. There could be a lot of pressure on them to crack the case as soon as possible, because the nation would definitely want to know as to what really conspired between the two and what really led to her death.